What's up, everybody? I'm AD.
And I'm Sharee, and welcome back to another episode of
In Between the Lines. Let's go.
IBL, we're on a mission. Controversial discussion. From family edition to money to marriage and it's FJ. In between the lines.
Girl, yes, we're gonna talk about it all. Family, blended family, how hard it was for us to blend together. We're gonna talk about money. We're even gonna talk about emotional affairs, girl. I can't wait.
All right, y'all, welcome back. We're excited that you are here. We ask that you would like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more updates, and you can stay updated with all the new content that's coming out. We're excited. I don't know about you, but this is episode 9.
This is episode 9. We're almost at episode 10. Listen, we have stalled on our subscribers.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of views, which is awesome, guys, but we want to accomplish the goal of hitting... We're starting at 100 subscribers, right?
Yeah.
We're building the family. And so we need for you to share these episodes, right? And if you haven't subscribed, shame on you. No, I'm joking. But yeah, just hit that button. And we're learning about commitment.
Commitment.
Is there anything that has impacted your life in any of the episodes that we talked about? And if we have, let's be friends. Let's commit, right?
Yeah, we also ask that you would go and check us out. We have an amazing Facebook page.
Yeah, we do. Called The Uncommon Marriage.
Uncommon Marriage. So if you're married and you're looking for a community that is there, we are there. So let's connect there. There will be some updates because we're going to be doing some marriage stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be going live in that Facebook group. We're really actually excited about that, being able to do some Q&A potentially with those. So make sure you look us up on Facebook and for The Uncommon Marriage.
Uncommon Marriage. So
yeah, let's go though.
Yeah, let's go. So we got another hot topic for you guys today.
Yes.
You want to introduce this?
You know, every episode I got to have some kind of random question.
Here we go. Random question.
All right. So the random question this morning is: you say that you're like, oh babe, I noticed that your gray's going in and it looks really nice, right? But then there are times you'll say, oh man, we both need to dye our grays. So I think it's kind of just sending like a little mixed messages.
Okay.
And so I just want to know, just randomly, like,
what
should I dye my hair, or do you prefer like the sprinkle of gray? Me personally, I want to dye it.
Okay, so I can answer that question.
Okay.
I like it either way. I like the grays. I'm cool with it. Me personally, I like it. When I say we both need to dye our grays, it's from you saying I need to dye my hair.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing out, oh, she wants to dye her hair, so I'll just say it because you're saying that.
But you love me great.
What?
Getting older.
Yeah.
It's just embracing what's to come.
Yeah, I love it. I think you should go with what you feel.
Well, if that's the case,
as far
I
as
appreciate you
dyeing
saying
your
that.
hair, as far as dyeing your hair, let me throw that out there because no more random questions today.
It's not a random question, but I was actually really thinking about dyeing my hair like a burgundy reddish.
I love the black.
What? I said burgundy.
Black.
All right, let's talk about this hot topic today. All right, so today we are going to be talking about rules of engagement.
Rules of engagement, y'all.
How to fight fair.
How to fight fair. Oh my God, that's wow. That's it's good. This is good.
Yeah.
It's a major how to fight fair. When you think about that, put in the comments when you think about when she said the title. How did you feel
fair.
About that? How to fight
in
fair.
Relationships and marriage.
Is that even a thing in marriage?
It should be, because the crazy thing is we're not really taught. Like, your parents will say to you when growing up, don't say that's mean, but no one teaches you how to confront or to how to have healthy confrontation and arguments in relationships. And so you just have these two worlds that are colliding together, and then emotions are flaring, and you just do the best you can to duke it out in the way that you can. And so I think that we need to have more conversations and trainings with couples on rules of engagement, you know what I'm saying, and how to create healthier relationships.
Yeah, I think it's good.
So, a while ago, we created 15 rules of engagement. We're not going to do all 15 of them, but I think it'd be cool if you and I can go back and forth and pick one, and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But we started this list, which we can embed into this video too, when we started marriage counseling.
Yes.
And when we were doing marriage counseling, we noticed that a lot of the couples that we were counseling or premarital counseling, that they didn't fight fair.
Yeah.
And so we came up with this list of, let's just call them principles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Godly principles on how to fight fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? We can flip a coin if you want.
You can go first.
Oh, that's nice. All right. So I'm going to say this. My first one off of the list is going to be seek to understand versus be understood.
Yeah.
In heated discussions or debates or conversations, disagreements. It's more about if you seek to understand versus always wanting to be understood, and both of you adopt this principle, then the conversation should go better than it did in the past.
Yeah, but I think also too, to add to what you're saying, seek to understand versus to be understood. What it does is it allows you to place yourself in humility. And then it allows you to, you're showing your spouse, I'm going to put you first. I want to hear what it is that you're saying, because I could be misunderstanding what you're saying, because I'm holding on to you, me trying to be understood. Yeah. If I should say. So I think it allows us, and it also shows when you allow it to go in that direction, it shows the servanthood.
Yeah,
it shows the servanthood. So I think saying to your spouse, now you're saying to yourself, I need to say what I need to say because I need him to understand me, or I need him to understand me. But what you're saying is, instead of that, you're saying, let me hold that. Let me make sure I'm understanding first before I try to make her or him understand me.
Yeah, I think that if we have that posture. It not only displays humility, like you said, patience, but it displays love. And most of the time, a lot of disagreements that I've noticed, and even in the past with us, have come from misunderstanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I like learning how to listen is hard for me, because I'm the type of person, I'm already anticipating what you're about to say. I already know what you're about to say. I don't, but I think I do.
Right.
And so I'm already down the street and around the corner and responding to that. The other thing about this I like that I need to really work on is seek to understand versus be understood, is this whole idea of when you're seeking to understand, you're less defensive.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so you communicate. I feel like when I'm like, all right, let me really listen to what he's saying, and let me like try to understand where he's coming from. That's an emotional intelligence. Yeah. I'm putting myself in your position and not, trying to be right, so to speak. Yeah. But for me, it lets my walls down. Like, I'm not as defensive.
Yeah.
And I think that has been a challenge for me in the past, even in our communication, is that I tend to communicate very defensively.
Well, we both have. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so it does the same for me. I can make that confession. It does the same for me. And I'm going to tell you what it does to me. When
I seek to understand, or when you seek to understand?
When I seek to understand.
Okay.
When I seek to understand, it allows my heart to be open to your feelings.
Yeah.
And then once, if we can get to a place where I'm like, oh, I see what she's saying, and now it draws me closer to you. Mm-hmm. This is what it does for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so,
and you may say, like, how can we do this in the midst of, like, what example, or how can you advise people to do this in the midst of heightened emotions. They're really upset about something or whatever, and it's a confrontation, so to speak.
I'm not going to say always, but I think the husband should always
Set the tone.
Set the tone.
That's
I just
good.
believe that. I think if the scripture is saying she's the weaker vessel,
And I'm willing to be a weaker vessel, so hey, we're gonna look to you to always do that.
that's a shame.
Listen, like in the past, being the weaker vessel was like, I'm not weak. This feminine movement. No, I'm weak. I'm weak. Nope, you got it. Go ahead. I'll follow you.
But I think the husband should always place himself in a place of allowing his wife to say what she needs to say, and it posture his heart again, like I said earlier, to serve and say, I want to hear how you feel. You know what I mean? Let me hear how you feel. That doesn't mean you have to agree, but it also allows you at the time, if you use it as a tool like this, allows a husband at the time to let his walls down before he communicates, so that he's not defensive.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, off this list, which one?
All right.
Are you gonna close your eyes and just get one, or are you just
No. All right. Don't fight in front of the kids.
Shoo.
Don't
Y'all be fighting
fight-
in front of y'all kids?
Don't fight in front. Not fist fighting, but
Well,
that
hopefully
too. But
not that, but
no
I don't
fighting
know.
in front of the kids.
Do y'all be fighting in front of your kids? I know in the beginning of our relationship, when Cameron and Christian were extremely young,
Yeah.
we fought in front of the kids.
All the time.
All the time. I pray, Lord, just snatch those memories from their minds. But we didn't do that long. We would argue and I'm talking about like the first 3 years of our marriage.
All
like
day.
we would just argue all day. Like everything was an argument. Like pass the fork. Well, why you say it like that? Well,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
was just so contentious. And my poor babies was in that environment.
Yeah.
I think it is so crucial, guys, that as parents that we demonstrate to our children what healthy atmospheres look like, and
healthy confrontation.
and healthy confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I say: parents are like God to their kids. Like
I agree.
like how God is to us. Parents are like that in the eyes of their children.
Yeah.
And we sow seeds of fear and trauma in the hearts of our children when we fight. Kids know the word divorce. You having just a disagreement, he getting on your nerves that day, but in the back of their minds they thinking, oh my gosh, are my parents gonna divorce like my best friend, Susie or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it really wreaks havoc on their emotions.
Yeah.
And so I think we in the last at least 10 years we've been good at that. We don't fight in front of the kids. Now our kids are older and they're very discerning. They can tell when we're getting on each other's nerves.
Yeah, they can definitely tell that. They can also tell when they get on our nerves.
And our nerves.
Anyway.
But we don't fight. We choose to not even just not fight in front of them, but we choose to dismiss them. That culture's not even relevant. My dad used to say back in the day, like when the grown-ups was talking, the kids was in the other room. I used to hate that because I was so nosy. And I wanted to know what was going on.
You're still nosy, man.
But they would send us out the room. But I think we need to probably return to those times where kids are not privy to. Some of y'all be talking about people and talking about the pastor and talking about.
You do everything. You do everything in front of your kids to the point that even when you guys go around that person or that family,
your kids' emotions are telling on y'all.
Yep. Because they know and they heard you talking about them.
Right. And you sitting there telling your kids to say hi to Becky, and she like, mm-mm.
Right. Or that child starts treating those people or that person
That's what I'm
the way
saying.
that
you talking about. And
that's so true.
And so I don't think that's fair. I always say that all the time, that we have to be careful of what we say in front of our children because they process it in a very immature way.
Yeah.
Right? Like rightfully so. They're not where you are. So some of you are potentially, this is one couple, the wife was demasculating the husband in front of the kids. The husband was like just dismissive and just you know what I mean, all these things
Real
towards
bad.
it. And the child is watching this and they're saying, oh, this is acceptable behavior. So when I start dating, this is okay. It's okay for my boyfriend to berate me or yell at me or scream in my face because that's what dad did to mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next rules of engagement is yelling and screaming is not permitted.
I like that one.
I listen, I know for me, like anytime, like especially early on in our marriage, like you would raise your voice, you be yelling, like you used to yell.
So let's also define yell, because sometimes like elevating your voice and being aggressive with your tone is also being taken as yelling, and some people don't see it that way. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
and you could probably throw in there like aggression, like you'd have to watch your aggression, because maybe you're not loud in volume, but you're loud with aggression.
Right, but I've done both.
Yeah, I mean, I have too. I'm not much of a yeller.
No, you're not.
But
yelling.
I will cut you up with my words.
Yeah, well, you yell in the spirit.
I yell in the spirit. You yell in the natural. And so we used to. That would literally shut me down. So like for me, when someone yells, I immediately go to fight or flight. Immediately, like it's just trauma. You know what I'm saying? And so you're not going to get any healthy conversation from me until we address that. Like I cannot move forward. Have you noticed that? Like,
oh, I always knew that from day one.
Day one.
Yeah, always knew that.
I come across as being like so strong, but I'm so like,
well,
I'm so fragile sometimes.
That's for another
another
yeah,
podcast.
You're very strong. You're very strong. You're very strong-willed. You're a leader's leader. You have all those things, but just because you're strong doesn't mean you can't be. You're going to be strong everywhere. Let me say it that way. You're not going to be, and not everyone is strong everywhere.
And then sometimes like you display this strongness, if that's a word or whatever, and you just
strength.
You display this strength,
yes.
And people treat you according to your display.
I agree.
And we have to be careful of dwelling with each other with understanding and how and what people can take.
Yeah. And then you have those that can dish aggression but can't receive it.
You said dish aggression?
Dish it out.
Oh, dish out aggression. Yeah, that's true. That's
you have that. So they so like but when it comes to them, like ooh.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
What I mean? So you have that. It's like, oh, I thought you were.
I thought this is what we do. I thought this is what you wanted. This is what you like. I thought you liked that. So yelling and screaming, never. I'm going to say this also, this is not a parenting podcast right now, but even yelling at your kids can cause a sense of trauma. It triggers them. And then also what you're doing is also training them on when and how to respond. And so, some parents say my kids don't listen until I scream, because you've trained them that way. So if you train them to say the first time in my soft tone, go clean your room. And if they don't, then that first time at a soft tone, there should be consequences. Not go clean your rooms. I'm tired of it, And then so they're like, oh, she don't mean it. She don't mean it. She don't mean it. Oh, she's screaming. She mean it.
But that's my point. So you can be like, go clean your room. Go clean your room. And then they don't. And then you say, go clean your room. You don't have to yell at me. That's what I'm saying. Just because your aggression was a little bit stronger, now you got adults that feel that way,
that's
and
true.
You got kids that feel that way. So what is yelling? You know what I mean?
That's
it's screaming.
true.
So that's what I mean by that. All right.
That's good. Which one? What you got?
So I like this one. Treat the word divorce as a curse word. And no cursing.
Y'all be cursing at y'all spouses up in these streets. Let me find out. Tell on your spouse.
Treat the word divorce as a curse word. So
yeah. Whew.
Yeah. So
we most of our marriage we didn't.
No. Some people call it the D word because they don't even want to say the word divorce.
Yeah.
We
say in our marriage that divorce is not an option.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like a vow. Now, let me be very clear about this, because there's a couple people running around saying divorce is not an option, but your marriage ain't a marriage.
Make it plain.
if we say divorce is not an option with the intention to wage war to get peace in our marriage.
Yeah.
Right? To fight for our marriage, to get the healing, deliverance, the freedom, whatever you need so that you don't end up in that place. I feel like divorce is thrown around. I feel like there are people that have been divorced and I'm like, so why did you get divorced? Oh, well, they just didn't support me. What? Like, I don't know. I know y'all might be like, well, that's a good reason. It's really not, because there are going to be seasons in your marriage that you may not feel as supported.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then you'll never ever experience the longevity of relationships.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so the crazy thing about, not the crazy thing, but the good thing that we've said is that, you know, for better or for worse, you know, to the end. And we talked about this in one episode where you used to be a runner.
Oh, absolutely.
And you would, while he was running, he's like, I'm filing for divorce all the time.
Let me just say this though. We talking real rap. I meant it some of the times, not all of the time.
Yeah.
But because, and now here's where I give you, I stick a feather in your hat in front of all these millions of people. My wife, her strength to stand, to take a stand, to not budge, taught me how to stop running and confront and deal with, you're going to have problems. And it taught me. So that's why, for God knows how many years, that word or that not
feeling,
wanting to leave and all that kind of stuff, because the way I grew up, confrontation was one way.
Yeah.
Is physical, is
smack
we
somebody in the
fight,
mouth.
right? And that's what you learn, right?
Yeah.
And so I learned healthy confrontation in this marriage, and your consistency in that, but also to whenever I felt like I'm out, I'm good. And I used to be really good at that. You wake up from a nap,
Yeah.
bro, going, right? And
Yeah.
never coming back. And we 3 years and 4 years in. But my wife, has taught me, like, relationships in this marriage is only going to last because we're getting through it. We're fighting through the pain.
And we didn't leave. Yeah. Like, successful marriages are only successful.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome, babe. Because I'm overly committed. I'm committed to a detriment at times, because there were relationships where I should have left. And well, let's not be clear. I mean, let's be clear. But there's just something within me, like, I'm just a very committed person. Like, I'm the type of person that says, if I say I'm going to do it, even to a detriment, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what makes us a great pair, is that we can learn from one another, because there are assignments and certain things that I really should break. I should say, hey, I know I committed to this, but
decommit.
I need to decommit.
You need to decommit.
And
That's our word.
I learned that from you. I learned that you can commit for a season, but sometimes you need to decommit in another season. Mm-hmm. But as it connects to marriages, some of you may not be married. You're still in that place where you can decommit. But I want to encourage you to fully examine the reasons why you're not moving forward. Some people say, I'm just not happy. Listen, that does not mean, if we looked at the seasons and the times of our lives where we've been married in the last almost 19 years where we were happy, we would have been able to divorce 50 times.
Easy.
Happiness is not always going to be present in your marriage. I'm just being real.
Right.
And happiness is very also circumstantial.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes happiness has nothing to do with your spouse. It's your own internal turmoil.
It has to start there.
Right.
It has to start there.
And on you.
Yes.
It starts with you,
Yes.
right? Like if you're single considering to be married and you're thinking that if I get married, then everything is going to be well in the world, that you're already headed in the wrong direction to be severely disappointed.
Yeah, I agree.
I encourage you to get to a place where you are secure and healthy in who you are as an individual. So when you come into a marriage, there's already sustenance there. There's already stability as a human, as a person for
Good
yourself.
stuff. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's do one or two more.
Yeah, let's go a couple more. Come on.
Okay. So I like this one just because I think it's something that, especially in the African American community, we're not really taught these things. But healthy communication summarizes sometimes what you've heard, right?
Yeah.
And so if you and your spouse or someone you're in a relationship with is having a hard time with understanding each other, it kind of goes back to our first point of seek to understand versus be understood.
Yeah.
But here's a suggestion: when someone is sharing their heart, right?
Yeah.
And then you may say, well, when you said, it makes me feel.
Okay.
Right. So a way that I can explain to you that maybe there's a behaviors or actions or, conversation towards me that I don't appreciate. For me to be able to explain that, I can say, hey, babe, when you yell, it really shuts me down.
Right.
Hey, babe, when you use these words, X, it really triggers me.
Yeah.
Or here's another recapping suggestion. What I heard you say was,
right.
when I make decisions with the kids, you feel disrespected.
Right.
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 What I heard you say was, and then that person, you can give that person the opportunity. This connects, in my opinion, to seeking to understand.
Okay.
It also gives the person an opportunity to say, no, that's not what I said. Or, yes, you're on the right track, but let me clarify.
Yeah.
Or yes, that is exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's no point in moving on if there are two understandings in the room that do not align.
Right. I agree.
Does that feel weird though? Like, does that feel like if we're talking and I'm like, all right, hold on, pause. So what I heard you say or what I hear you saying is, and then I reiterate, how do you do you think that, what do you think about that?
I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
I think it is because part of why a lot of couples are arguing and stuff like that is because we leave a conversation misunderstanding. And what better time to say, I'm listening to you, but this is what I feel like I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Is this what you're saying?
Yeah.
And boom.
I think that would have saved us, oh my God, a bajillion arguments, because
8 years. Probably
8 years of y'all. We was a hot mess. The fact that Jesus, glory be to God. So all right, let's close it out with your last one.
All right, so here's my last one. Do not confront or argue while being physically tired.
Oh my gosh. Do
not confront or argue while being physically tired. Why?
Oh my God, it's so important, because when you're physically exhausted, your ability to listen, your ability to be patient, your ability to understand decreases significantly. And your ability
to hear, what's the word I'm looking for? Comprehend.
Hello,
you know what I mean?
You ever be tired and you people be talking and you're looking at them like, what did you say? Like, you're just tired.
I mean, I've had regular conversations. We're out to dinner and I'm trying to say something.
Yeah,
and I'm in the back of my mom what am I? I'm tired.
Yeah.
So imagine if you're in your marriage, you're a heated argument or disagreement, and you're physically tired. It's really bad. You're going to go down. You're going to probably, what the scripture says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath or your anger.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It
is going to happen. And here's the interesting thing about being tired. It affects your ability to put together sentences. I know me when
That's me.
When I'm tired, I'm borderline mean.
Well, take borderline off.
When I'm tired, y'all, I have no patience. And I'm just trying, and I'm like, Lord, help me. I feel like some people would have stayed married if they just would have took a nap. I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, sometimes we try to over spiritualize stuff. Dude, y'all exhausted. Y'all, you need to take a nap, and you take a nap, and then when y'all wake up, I'm for real. Like,
No, I hear what you're saying.
Take a nap. Take a nap. You're tired. Life be lifing. The world is chaotic. There's so much stressors. You got wives working, take care of the kids, husbands working, take care of the kids, and then you want to come and have a discussion about something when y'all are exhausted at the end of the day. And I just feel like we're setting ourselves up for failure.
I do see how, because of your testimony, when you're tired, that you can be grumpy. But you know, I always say, when you're tired, you don't be grumpy. Just go to sleep.
He always say that. He'd be like, well, okay, you're just okay. I understand you're tired, but why you got to be like agitated or grumpy?
My thing is just go to sleep. Go lay down.
I can't. Like, sometimes I can't go to sleep.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
If it's like 6 o'clock.
Well, of course, I'm talking about when you can. I'm like, we're not doing anything. Why don't you just go upstairs?
Or you always say, like, just because you're tired, why do you got to be mean?
You have to be mean because you're tired. Just be tired. Be mean.
Y'all don't leave me out here by myself. Is there anybody else who is grumpy when they tired?
No, it's true. I mean, we have a child like that.
Yeah, we got a couple kids like that. We got a couple kids like that where they're just, when they're tired, you can clearly see it in their responses. I know for me, like I will isolate a little bit when I'm tired because I know that I tend to be grumpy and my patience is short.
Well, you like to talk.
Extremely
That's a gift
quiet.
that you have, but you get so quiet.
It's like, eerie.
We don't even know you're in the room, and you're sitting right there.
Yeah, because that's my way of being like, disappear. I know myself. You're like mentally taking a nap.
Withdrawal.
It's a coping mechanism.
It is.
I don't know. We didn't get through nearly the list of 15, but hopefully what we covered for you guys is golden nuggets for you to utilize today. Yeah. Your next disagreement, your next conversation with your spouse. And I know we didn't go through this, but one of the things I do want to say is that one of the things that is never okay in a marriage or relationship is the downgrading of your spouse. And you would think that doesn't need to be said, but there's a lot of demasculating. There's a lot of downgrading, tones. You can downgrade, demasculate someone by your tone, patronizing, being condescending, and dismissive. Yeah. And I think none of these behaviors are reflective of the heart of God. And most importantly, I think we have to be aware that if we say we love our spouse, why would we intentionally throw arrows at their heart to break them?
Yeah, good stuff. That's good.
I think this is a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Again, thank you for checking us out. I'm AD.
And I'm Sharee.
Thank you for tuning in to In Between the Lines. Till next time, peace.
Hey, make sure you like and subscribe.
And hit that bell icon for more updates.